The long-awaited villain of the Batman 2 might have been revealed, and it's not who we thought, guys. Early on, people thought it was Mr. Freeze, because the Batman 2 takes place in the winter, and I guess people found a correlation there. Idiots. Then people thought, okay, could it be Hush? Could it be Clayface? This takes place after the Penguin. Could Penguin play a major role as a villain, but he doesn't have that much screen time? Could it be the Joker? Well, Joker hasn't been confirmed to be the villain in this or the movie after. Could it be Court of Owls, the one I really want? Matt Reeves has said this villain has not been done yet. Now, it's not clear whether he's talking about live-action Batman or animated Batman or what, but he said this villain has not been adapted yet. But he has said it is a murder mystery that hits deep, cuts deep into the heart of Bruce Wayne and his past. Similarly to the first. What could it be? I thought it could have been Court of Owls. I thought there could have been an anchor villain, as I call it. Some kind of villain that's killing people, and that villain leads directly into Court of Owls. Maybe he's working for them, maybe he's tied to them directly. Who knows? I made a whole video discussing on how that could potentially be a good story for Batman 2. But apparently they're not going in that direction at all. I was very, very wrong. The Batman 2 has two villains, a female and a male. Now, whether one of them is a minor villain compared to the other, we don't know yet. But that is the case so far, due to the rumors. Scarlett Johansson has been cast as a female love interest of the Batman. Or, as it's quoted, a love interest who becomes a villain or is revealed to be a villain later, as reported by insiders. The moment people heard this, they're like, okay, there's only a couple possibilities of what that shit could be. Andre Beaumont? Mask of the Phantasm? One of the best, if not the best Batman animated films, critically acclaimed. Could it be that? A lot of people are saying, could it be Poison Ivy? You know, Scarlett Johansson plays Redhead. She loves doing that. Could she be that? No. This is not the case. I really hope to God it's not the case. First of all, I don't think they'd introduce a villain like this with these powers in this specific grounded, realistic universe. And I think it's been debunked that it's Poison Ivy. I think people have rejected that claim, insiders. The other possibility is that she's playing Vicky Vale, the love interest side of this equation, but she's basically Vicky Vale, who's a reporter by day, and Lady Arkham by night. Part of or leading the terrorist group known as Children of Arkham. That's the other. And I think that's probably the more... If I had to favor one that's going to happen, I'm probably going to stick with that. If I had to guess. Well, I'm going to mention who the male villain in this film is, because it ties directly into this. I don't know how to say this. I'm not a ScarJo hater by any means. I'm not that big a fan of hers. I never bought into the hype around Scarlett Johansson. Most of the characters she plays in movies I don't find that interesting, personally. Never found Black Widow that interesting. I know a lot of Black Widow people are going to come at me. I always liked Yelena more, to be honest. Didn't find her character in Jurassic World that great. Those aren't the only movies I've seen her, don't get me wrong. I've seen The Island, I've seen Vicky, Christina, Barcelona, whatever. I've seen her in that other... she's been in a lot of romance-related films too, but if she is playing Andre Beaumont, I just would have wanted a different kind of actress to play that. Maybe a younger, maybe one without such a big name, you know? Personally, she's not the one I think of when I think of Andre Beaumont. I don't know if it's just me. The moment I saw that she's casted as the main love interest and one of the villains, I'm like, I was kind of very underwhelmed. Like, I felt nothing. It didn't do anything for me. And yes, part of that is because I really wanted a fucking Court of Owls plotline in this. I really wanted it. I was begging for it. My hype has kind of died down for this film, I'll be honest, but I still have faith that Matt Reeves has not forgotten about this plotline. He has teased it here and there. He teased it in the Penguin show, right? I do think Court of Owls is coming. I just wanted it to come in Batman 2. I don't think that's happening, especially with Scarlett Johansson playing one of the main villains. Maybe she could still, but based on who the male villain is, I don't think Court of Owls are going to be a factor in this film at all. They might connect, but they're not going to be there. And I do not want Andrea Beaumont. You know why? Because I've already seen the Andrea Beaumont plotline. Everyone who's seen The Mask of Phantasm knows what's coming, and it was perfectly done in the animated medium. I don't need to see it be done in live action. And plus, if that was the case, Scarlett Johansson's Andrea Beaumont would be kind of the main villain with a lot of screen time, who's connected to another villain. In Mask of Phantasm, she was taking revenge on the Joker, right? But the Joker wasn't the main villain of the film. She was, right? So that's how the balance of screen time would take place. I don't want Scarlett Johansson to have that kind of role in the film. That's not the villain I want for this movie. And it doesn't make sense at all, given who the other villain is rumored to be, by the way. She'd be taking revenge on an existing villain if they were to use the classic Andrea Beaumont arc, making this movie a lot about her story. I want this to be about Bruce Wayne's story and how it links to the deeper corruption inside Gotham. You could still do that with a love interest turned villain. I'm not saying you can't. But Mask of the Phantasm is a very specific story, mind you. They could do this thing where they're taking a completely different take on her character and making her full-on evil, rather than this on and off love interest who can be redeemed but does bad things, you know, that type of thing. They could make her a full-on schizo in this, or just do something completely different with a character named Andrea Beaumont, but she's not the Phantasm character that we know. Maybe. Besides that, I don't give a fuck about this. I really, really don't. Unless they're doing something else. Now, she did really lobby for this role. She was willing to take a pay cut and take a bite out of the box office because she had it in her mind, like, this is going to make a lot of money, but I really like this role, which tells me, this really tells me that this character will have a big role and an important role, will be well written. I don't know. I was expecting more from the villain. But that brings us to the second villain. The villain that I had, the moment I saw that this was the villain, or rumored to be, it's still not confirmed, of course, but it's like the most likely scenario. The moment I saw this on Twitter and everywhere, I was like, what? The villain of the Batman 2, the other main villain, is Jeremiah Arkham, or Dr. Arkham. Now, some of you might be scratching your heads looking like this, like, huh? Who? Some of you who know would be like, oh, I know who that is, but really? You're serious? Arkham Asylum has always been destined to play a big role in these films, ever since we saw the name of the family known as Arkhams mentioned in the first movie. Jeremiah Arkham was a nephew of Amadeus Arkham, who like founded Arkham and is one of the founding families of Gotham. He was a great nephew, I think, and inheritor of the Arkham legacy. He believed that a person's state of mind was immaterial when contrasted against their actions. Thinking about murdering someone is not nearly as interesting to him as the actual act itself. So, to correct these, he would often use a very special kind of aversion therapy on patients. But in the journey to cure patients' minds, he lost his fucking mind himself, and he became this evil, experimental, crazy scientist who would later become the new Black Mask and would use an army of inmates to cause chaos in Gotham. Very odd choice, in my opinion, for the main villain of the Batman 2. He gives me like side villain vibes. Doesn't have the aura of a main villain. But here's the thing. It does connect to something that happened in the Batman. Bruce's mom had a lot of mental health issues. This woman was like mentally ill. She was in and out of Arkham for like years before meeting Thomas Wayne. Her mother offed her husband and then offed herself right after, who was a member of the Arkham. So Bruce Wayne kind of comes from a line of the Arkham family. He's a distant relative of the Arkham family. This connects very deeply to him. So Jeremiah Arkham is connected to that. This movie could probably explore the corruption of that big family. The Arkhams, this founding family of Gotham that's presided over the city, and a lot of them have not been mentioned, by the way. We don't know if a lot of them are alive. Dr. Arkham might be the last of their family, trying to do some shit, we don't know. And Bruce Wayne is the center of it all. Maybe the guy that Martha's mom murdered before offing herself, maybe that's a direct relative to Dr. Arkham and he's taking revenge, which would be silly and stupid. Why did my assistant write her mother? Who's her? The fuck is this guy on... Is this guy on crack? What do I hire him for? But really, this could explore the Arkhams being this high elitist family that's trying to control a lot of shit. They want to control Bruce and his empire, his family's empire, the Wayne Enterprises. I think that could be the end game here. The Arkhams are still a family. Dr. Arkham is like their main emissary, their main weapon, and they're trying to control him and his company. Arkham Asylum is where they put political enemies, maybe too. If they want to lock people up who are a bit inconvenient to their plan, throw them in there, and Bruce Wayne might have this fate. Remember, in the comics, Batman in full costume was sent to Arkham Asylum, where Dr. Arkham experimented on him. This is like a plot point that happens in the comics. Maybe that's what they're adapting in the film. Probably is. Maybe Bruce is forced to confront this guy in Arkham. He's locked in Arkham with all the criminals he's put in there as well. It's going to be a crazy movie if that's the case. This is going to be a horror movie, a psychological horror movie with Bruce inside harassed by all these crazy villains with Dr. Arkham at the heart of it. We might see the Riddler and Joker again. I guarantee you Joker would make a cameo if this is the case.
It's also very possible Matt Reeves might be adapting Arkham Asylum, a serious house on serious Earth, where all the inmates in Arkham Asylum are broken out and Batman has to come in and stop them and basically go through a psychological gauntlet, taking on various villains he's fought in this deep labyrinth.
And maybe she's the path for him to get into that asylum. Maybe Vicky Vale tries to seduce him, get into his good side a little bit, and then lead him in to the asylum, where she will reveal herself as Lady Arkham, planning to help Dr. Arkham destroy Bruce's legacy, take over his family's empire, his family's company, and basically, essentially take over the city. And remember, I believe in the video game, Lady Arkham's parents were also murdered as a result of being tied to the corrupt mayor and Falcone and all this stuff. So maybe Scarlett Johansson's character has a history with all of that and is taking revenge, and that's her motivation for helping Dr. Arkham here. Here's what I'm going to say. If this is truly the plot, I'm going to make a couple suggestions to you. Matt Reeves and the writers, right? We got 2 years before this movie comes out. Holy fuck, man. 2027, are you crazy? I guess it's a year and a half. I don't know. Here's a couple suggestions, all right? Let's make the villain Hugo Strange. We all know everyone wants it. The comic book fans have been waiting for this dude to be adapted. Instead of Dr. Arkham, why don't you say Hugo Strange? He's a long-distant member of the Arkham family, ready to take back what's his, you know? His real identity is tied to them. The Arkhams built the asylum to imprison opposition and control them through psyops, so that guys like Hugo Strange who work for them could break them down psychologically. The Arkhams are a part of the Court of Owls. How? The Court of Owls consists of the elite families, the 5 elite families of Gotham, trying to control it through corruption, through darkness, through cult-like activity. The Waynes, yes, the Waynes at the highest level, maybe Thomas Wayne's father, were part of this. The Arkhams were part of this. The Canes, the Falcones, the Elliots. Every single family has their part to play in the control of Gotham. The Waynes do it through corporations, through corporate control. Arkhams do it through medicine, pharmaceuticals, all that type of shit. Their mental health, all that type of shit. Falcones, they control the criminal underworld. Elliots, Canes, we don't know. Different sectors of the city will be controlled by each founding family of Gotham, which make up the Court of Owls. That could be the main reveal that happens towards the end of this movie. And Hugo Strange wants to flip the table and upset them all and manipulate them all. And Bruce Wayne's his way to do that. Scarlett Johansson as Lady Arkham lures Bruce into the asylum, cosplaying as a love interest. Why? Because Hugo Strange already knows who Batman is. They already know who to lure into the asylum. He's not told the Court of Owls this, though. This is just his. He likes the idea that only he knows, right?
Maybe you do a bait and switch on the audience. Make them think something that isn't actually happening. Maybe name Scarlett Johansson's character Andrea Beaumont, but her true identity is something very, very different. Instead of being the Phantasm, who is this on-again, off-again love interest that can be redeemed, instead Scarlett Johansson is much more of a villain.
And he's going to manipulate Batman. He's going to break him down. He's going to use him. He wants to use him as a weapon. So the 3 things that need to be revealed in this movie are: Hugo Strange knows Bruce's real identity. In the comics, he does very fast. Scarlett works for him and is one of the Arkham's family members under the alias of Vicky Vale. And the Waynes and the Arkhams are part of the Court of Owls. I need those things to be revealed. You can build on the lore really well with that. Maybe the Penguin is how Bruce Wayne finds out that there's this group of elites. Some of them have control over the mayor's office without the mayor even knowing it. You know, maybe that's where Oswald comes into play. Who knows? Setting up the Court of Owls for the trilogy. Listen, this video is literally me coping and trying to figure out a way to get us a Court of Owls, alright? I want it! Think about the world we live in. There's a cult of corporations out there that are trying to control everything, okay? Let's just be real about it. A few big names trying to monopolize everything. There's a cult of PDF file beings trying to control us all. In the government, politically, across different countries. There's some global conflicts as well that relate to. It's never a better time than to adapt a storyline like this, okay? Some eyes wide shut meets DCU type shit. Now, you could argue, does Hollywood want to adapt that kind of storyline? We know it touches close to home. We know that's what got Stanley Kubrick. Right? I'm gonna make a whole video on the eyes wide shut scandal. Listen. They need to do... If Matt Reeves is a smart man, he will do this. Court of Owls is the end-all, be-all of this entire series. Not the Joker. Joker's going to be our villain for the 3rd movie. No. Have the Joker cameo in here. I'm done with Joker being a main villain. Batman. We need to move on from this now. We've had so much Joker the last couple of years. It's over. Let's do Court of Owls, right? Those are my thoughts on that. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. But the army must keep growing. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movies or favorite film theories in a community with like-minded individuals, join the Zafy Discord now. Link is in the description and the comment section as well. Join us. This movement is just beginning. We're taking over Hollywood, one coke line at a time.